Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, The Medieval Reader. So today I would like to talk about Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, which is the fourth book in the Harry Potter series. As always, this is a spoilery chat, so if you have not read this book and you don't want to be spoiled, then don't watch this video. I have to say, I was very disappointed by this book. When I first read this book, this is only my second time reading it, I was probably around 10 years old. I started reading this book a lot later than other people. I just started reading the entire series later than other students. And I remember loving this book, probably because of the end, which is thrilling, but that's only like this much of the book. All of this is filler. I feel like this book suffers from middle book syndrome. There's all of this material that doesn't need to be there. This book definitely did not need to be almost 750 pages. Nothing happens. Okay, some things happen that are important, that we come to learn are important by the end of the book, but there were just so many details that really didn't interest me. First, I don't really care about Quidditch. I never really have in any of the books, but this one was particularly irritating because everyone's oohing and aahing over Viktor Krum, but he's such a flat character. He's just this really attractive, athletic man who is smitten by Hermione, and Hermione really likes him, but there's just nothing there, and it was really irritating hearing about how amazing Viktor Krum is. I just was not at all into the Quidditch World Cup. Of course, it is important for the story. It is certainly important because that's where all the action happens, but I didn't care for that. Of course, the Dursleys, sigh. I've already talked about how problematic the Dursleys are. Also, they're just really caricatures, and there's just not a lot there. I really wish that the other schools had been well represented. Fleur de la Cour means flower of the court in French. So they were supposed to be French. Beau bâton is beautiful sticks. And so yeah, it is really stereotypical, right? The women, their school is very pink and flowery and, you know, carriages, and then the male school is really masculine, and I don't know, there was a lot of that going on, these gender stereotypes. And then we just don't really learn much about the different students. You know, we know that Cedric is a really kind person, and, you know, he's really attractive, and surprise, surprise, so is Viktor Krum, and Fleur is really beautiful, and everybody likes her, but she's kind of creepy too. There's not a lot there. I did like learning more about Hagrid, because he is one of my favorite characters in the series, and it was interesting seeing how Maxime, the principal of the Beau bâton Academy, how she tries to hide being part giant. I thought that was a really interesting plot point, but for the most part, I didn't care much for the characters. There wasn't really anything that interested me, so that when Cedric Diggory dies, quite pathetically, I didn't care. I was like, well, I never really cared for the character anyway. And it doesn't seem like Rowling did either, because he's just killed off. He's killed off because Voldemort wants Harry and Cedric just happens to be around. So anyway, that really, I mean, that was like the entire story, right? And I just found it really not well developed. The characters were really flat. I don't care about teenage romance ever, and the romance was not good. Who is Cho Chang? Sounds kind of racist, the name. I don't know. But we never really get her perspective. Once Voldemort returned, however, I did find the story very gripping, and I think that's the reason why I remember enjoying this book so much and thinking that it was my favorite in the series, because I remember sitting on this same bed years and years ago and reading the last few chapters when Voldemort comes back and being so scared because I never really read scary things, and I was like, oh my gosh, what's going on? So yeah, no, it was really exciting at the very end, and it has encouraged me to read the next book, and I've already read over 100 pages of Order of the Phoenix, rereading it, of course. And that book is far superior, but I haven't finished it yet, so you will get a video on that book as well. But yeah, the ending was very satisfying. Well, okay. It was satisfying for the most part. It was definitely superior to the other 2/3 of the book. I'm surprised that Dumbledore didn't notice that Mad-Eye Moody was fake, because Polyjuice Potion is something that 11-year-olds learn, right? It's what Harry learns in the first year. Because there is a moment when Dumbledore says, "Oh, I suspected as much." And I'm like, you suspected as much, and yet you didn't care enough for your students to stop him. Right? Like, you didn't care enough about your students. I find Dumbledore to be an incredibly irresponsible headmaster. It's his responsibility to keep the students safe, and he knows so much. And we come to learn that he knows way more than we expected in the 6th book, or the 5th book, rather. So, yeah, he knows a lot, and he seemed to have known for quite a while that Moody was fake. Didn't do anything. And Cedric dies as a result. And it's always so bizarre that the parents are like, "Oh, our children are always safe in Dumbledore's hands." Let's see. Since book 1, Harry has almost died. He's still very excited to get back to Hogwarts every year. He's like, "Yeah, I can't wait to get back to Hogwarts," and almost die again. Woohoo! Just anyway. Yeah, I just think that, you know, all Dumbledore wants is an army, which he will get, his army. But these are children, and he's using children as pawns in his own battle. So I found that really just further confirming my dislike of Dumbledore. You know, I just don't like him. Okay, so yeah, I definitely think that, you know, after rereading this entire series, I suspect I will be returning to some of the books over others, and I don't think I'll be rereading this book ever again. It wasn't that interesting. Anyway, let me know what you think of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, and I will talk to you later. Bye now.